How's it going, everybody? This is Novakast back with another video, and we're going to be finishing up this book. Now, in case people haven't watched the last couple of videos of me responding to Greg's god-awful book, I ask you guys to check out the earlier videos, and also, because it relates to this one, as I mentioned near the end of the last video, it's going to be chapters 23 and 24, because 24 is not even, I don't even want to classify it as a chapter. It's like, and it's not even like 2 pages. It's like maybe a page, like, I want to say it's like 1.5 pages. And that's about it. So yeah, I wouldn't even classify it as a chapter. If anything, chapters 23 and 24 should just be chapter 23. But I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's end this. I just want to get this over with. But even though I say that, I remind myself I got 2 other books that I also have to read. So goody. All right, here we go. Chapter 23, The Black Nightmares. Oh, goody. These titles are so stupid. Alright. I decided to travel home in a slower manner than usual. I had a lot of thoughts and feelings I needed to give my attention to. I think it would have been easier if it would have just said, I had a lot of thoughts and feelings that needed my attention. I don't know. It just might be me. Just make it sound simpler. While I was traveling through space at thousands of miles per hour. So wait, so that doesn't make any sense. So you first claim you're going slow, but then I know it's being nitpicky, but it's like you first claim you're going slow, then you're going 1,000 miles per hour. That's not slow. That's actually really fucking fast. I still had hours before I would arrive home. I felt like crying after seeing Cole see his daughter for the first time in so long. It made me wish I had someone to return to myself. I felt dead to my mother, and my other family seemed to have nothing but negative feelings towards me ever since the incident with my mother's eyes. The only people left in the world who I knew loved me was the body and Julia. Do you really... that actually brings up a question. Do you really know if the body actually loves you? I mean, for one, you just classify it as the quote-unquote body, as if not giving it a name to make it seem like it's not even a person. But the entire time, it's a creation of you. And you even remarked on the fact that it's at this point somehow found a way to evolve higher than you. And Julia, I don't even understand why that would be a still thing, considering some of the bullshit that this character has pulled in the previous videos or previous chapters. Well, whatever. Thinking of Julia, my pain from what I had just seen and felt turned to concern, as the last time I saw Julia, I had given her the crushed Reaper. I decided it was time to stop flying and get to where I was going. Ripping open the code interface, I found myself next to Julia seconds later. Julia was bathing when I arrived. Seeing her in a bathtub made me burst out laughing. Julia was not surprised to see me there, thanks to how I changed her code. She knew I was coming. She spoke aloud. I know, Daniel, you could simply alter the code to make yourself not get dirty or even clean yourself right away, but not everyone has lost the simple things in life, I smiled and replied, sorry, I've had a rough day. It's nice to see something like this. She smiled back. The dialogue is so crappy. It really is. Also, changing the code so this so ultimately like more likely against her will. Fucking creeper. But again, it's like, how do we know that she's, the person that she would have been without changing her code? More than likely, she'd probably find this, like any normal person would probably find this to be creepy. If anything, him changing the code just seems like, oh, I'm just going to change your personality to fit my needs. Kind of reminds us a lot of the shit that he's pulled with a few people, huh? Where was I? I'm sorry for being so I cut her off mid-sentence with a kiss. As I leaned in, kissing Julia, she grabbed me and pulled me into the tub as I screamed and laughed. With little thought, my clothes were off and we were kissing much more heavily. I'll give you guys a second to vomit. Okay. Hours passed. We found ourselves lying in the bed, talking about numerous things that had changed in the world over the last few weeks. After a while, the Reaper came up. Julia had placed it in a thick metal box by itself in the ground outside. After looking at the code in depth, I realized I had evolved to the point, since the body changed me, that I could easily remove the Reaper from this world. Without consequence, I finished him without a second thought. I spoke aloud, "Thank you for watching over that for me." She replied, "You just erase things, don't you?" I realized with a sigh, if I don't remove certain things from this planet, people will get hurt. Julia looked away from my eyes and spoke. "I know, but some people care about people you erase." I went silent for a moment, and then after thought, I spoke again. After thought. Okay, just to correct it, or at least try to correct it. I went silent for a moment, and then after that thought, I spoke again. "Love you, Julia. I'm sorry my actions have hurt you." Julie's eyes began to water again, so she buried her face in a pillow. After a while, her emotions calmed, and we fell into sleep despite not needing to anymore. I woke up the next day to the smell of breakfast. As I rubbed my eyes, I could see a massive blur standing before me. My eyes focused, and I realized it was the body. He spoke, so I got fired. I exploded with laughter. I immediately dove into the body's thoughts and saw that Cole's daughter had returned to Earth. I could see the changes she had made were extreme and elegant, and the moment I looked into the updated code, I searched for code of prisons, military bases, even cancer hospitals, and they were all gone. Cole's daughter had done what I was afraid to do. She didn't acknowledge opinions or cultures and simply rebuilt the world in the way she deemed fit. Okay. The body had informed me that he had already done half of the things she was planning to do before she stepped in and corrected some of his shortcomings and took things a step further to more closely resemble her world pre-God. The body spoke to me. "She has a message for you. I'm sure you already know it." And he was right. But knowing something and focusing on it are two different things. So I was glad he brought it to my attention. The daughter of Cole, the returned god of Earth, wanted me to know that I was forbidden from altering her world further. She also gave me the coordinates of a location of an alien who had sent his own kind out to torture me as a child. I was slightly offended by the level of ego of the new god of Earth flaunted, but was also grateful I could finally find justice for every torture I had encountered as a child. Okay. After a short goodbye to Julia, the body, and I found... Okay, after a short goodbye to Julia, the body, and I find myself... I think there shouldn't have been an and there. I find myself soaring through space to confront my childhood demons. As we approach their planet, I came to understand that the blackness of this world made the rest of empty space look like the sun. It was a level of darkness I cannot explain. The body and I floated in place, far outside the atmosphere of this abnormal, beyond black mass. As we studied the code of the planet, Earth's new god had highlighted the code of the alien commander in red. I wanted to just delete the code of the alien commander, but the body introduced another option. He spoke. Julia said, "You are good at erasing things, and I'm like you, deleting other beings as I see fit." I looked at the body as he glanced at this terrifying alien home planet. The body continued, "Let's give this one a chance." With the new god of Earth managing everything, I had time to dig deeper into this world. The body verified that these aliens operated in basic code, and were not a threat to us, as I formed a platform and habitat for the alien to exist in as we spoke to it. While everything this commander did was clearly identify, the individual actions, communications, and even thoughts of this alien were difficult to comprehend, as all the code reflected a culture and a language that was incredibly foreign to me. The body helped transition both of us into a state that was unreachable by this alien, and upon finishing the quarters for the alien, I placed him within it, standing before us. The alien was behind a silver wall. We could see in, but all the alien could see inside was black. I designed the cage of sorts to take everything we said to the creature to translate for the alien. It worked both ways. Initially, the alien just made screeching noises and tried to find a way out, so we repeatedly attempted to calm the alien. As we spoke, the alien stopped trying to find a way out and spoke directly up, even though we were on each side of the cage. My assumptions as a child were verified. The more we listened to this creature talk, the more the population of this planet was built on fear. They were so afraid of outside powers that it says that, by the way, I corrected it the first time, or, whatever. I'm just gonna read it as it was. They were so afraid of outside powers that had an entire space program to seek out and destroy sources of energy coming from creatures that were or could become more powerful than them. The body brought something to my attention. I see God had dealt with these creatures before. Looking at the code, I see both him and you crossing paths when you were just a baby. Pulling forward the information, I've verified that the body had pointed out that God had arranged for these aliens to figure out a way to kill me before I could even talk. The code revealed that God could crack the rock in my head, but never destroy it entirely. as it would always regenerate. God was using these creatures obsessed with fear to figure out how to eliminate the main threat to his own existence. He was convinced them, or he had convinced them, I was destined to kill them, when he knew the one who was truly threatened was him. The body exploded with another discussion or discovery following the very same code even further back. Daniel, your physical code starts at the date of your birth, but the stone in your head has a code that was created much further back with your mother, your original mother. My eyes darted up at the body. I replied with less shock and optimism than the body. My mother is the new god of Earth. Give me a fucking break. this fucking more ego stroking. Oh my gosh. Alright. The body looked concerned and replied, you say that like you knew. I replied. Yeah, because at this point, it bores me more when you have a character that acts like he knows everything and is a pompous bastard like this guy. The body looked concerned and replied, you say like you knew. I replied, I'm sorry, this is just a lot. A loud screech came from the cage once more. The creature was threatening us despite how obvious it was that it was at a disadvantage. I was frustrated and distracted at this point. The mother I was born of wanted nothing to do with me, and the mother who created me didn't bother to ever tell me who I was or anything outside where these aliens were. While deep in thought, I felt the body wrapped his arms around me. It was the first time I have ever felt a giant hug me. I felt so powerless. The body spoke, hey, cheer up. Still upset, I chuckled a little, then patted the body on the side to let him know he could stop squeezing me now. I rubbed my eyes and began to modify the alien's code. As I worked on the alien, the body spoke up. Ew, you thought your mom was hot. I need to pause for a second, just thinking about how disgusting that is, but alright. I stopped in the middle of the coding. What? No, not my birth mom. And I didn't even know this lady was my original mom. I mean, she made a rock, not my body or anything. The body laughed explosively. You thought your mom was hot. Now that you know she's your mom, you still think she's hot. Glaring at the body, I finished the alien's code. I had erased all code revolving around my existence from this moment. The alien was returned to their home and additionally returned the code I had physically destroyed as a child. All the families and soldiers I killed, sending them back to their planet without the memory of what happened or the memory of my existence. Even the coordinates of our planet were erased from their navigation systems and recordings. The body observed me to do this and spoke. Okay, for a guy who likes his mom, that was pretty kind of you to not just kill them all. I smirked and replied, you know I only have eyes for Julia. And gross. The body laughed, saying, I know. And after returning, everything was in place. The dark planet, we returned to our own. Peace seemed to be whining. And I was so happy to be part of that. Alright, last chapter. Again, not even a chapter, it's just, 1.5 pages. Chapter 24, Mother. I had It had been years since I had seen the god of Earth. The body had altered his code to be more human size. Human enough, he also still well over 6 feet tall. He mostly spent his time playing video games and racing vehicles in amateur circuits. Julie and I had been talking about having a baby and making our relationship more official, and the world itself. It was hard to find a single thing wrong with it. The economy was designed for the well-being of all. TV shows no longer reflected drama from our own planet, but were most all based on what life was like on other planets with other gods. Even Cole himself was not the origin of all things. There were many more worlds and many more creators as corrupt as and even more corrupt than our own former god. I hadn't bothered to visit my family that brought me into my human form 20 years ago. I felt like they were still better off without me. The same goes for my school, friend David, even the house near the creek I grew up. That was all a past I didn't want in my future, and I was certain with our new god, they were all happy anyway. Just like the new god of Earth instructed me, I didn't physically alter the code of her planet or the planet on it or the people on it whatsoever. But I didn't need to, as my original mother was perfect. No matter how much I evolved, she would still be wiser than me. Alright. And that was the craptastic book of Onision, aka Reaper's Creek. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my reading of this smut. If you guys want to follow our content, please do so. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you have anything you'd like to add to what we were just reading, leave in the comments down below. With that, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one and take care. Peace.